This is the RACER H2O podcast.
It's time to drop that flag!
Go! Come on. Right there, go get him! Cut it tight. Stay on the tractor, baby! Bring it home!
And now here's your host.
Rewind battle for the lead, shoulder to shoulder, going into turn one. Rinse that boot around!
Jared Rosberg.
Yeah, here we go. What's up, troops? It's your old pal Jared. Welcome to another RACER H2O podcast. Man, we are knee deep. No. Waist deep. No. Chest deep. Nope. We are neck deep in the 2022 racing season. So much going on. Getting ready to head back out on the road. Back to Branson, Lake Taneycomo for round number 2 of Powerboat Nationals 2022 Branson Grand Prix Series. Hey fans, you can watch our coverage of round number 1 on any of the 11 television networks. They're scheduling it now. Go to racerh2o.com to see which networks we're on. We're on 11 of them. Or you can watch it on demand. Just go to our YouTube channel. It's right there. And hey, do me a favor while you're there, fans. Hit that subscribe button. Trying to get those numbers up and press some sponsors. So hit that subscribe button. You can watch round number 1 of the Branson Grand Prix Series. Round number 2 coming up this weekend. Links are available at racerh2o.com. There's also a link there for RACER H2O merch. You want to look good when you're at the races, right, fans? Nothing makes you look better than RACER H2O gear. Get it at racerh2o.com. We got hats, koozies, shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, all kinds of stuff. racerh2o.com. Want to talk to you this week, fans, about next weekend, June 25th and 26th. A little bit of RACER H2O history happening. We are going to be covering 2 events in the same weekend. First time we've ever done that. First event, live stream, the SDBA Racing in San Angelo, Texas. The showdown in San Angelo, that will be live on the RACER H2O YouTube channel, RACER H2O Facebook page, RACER H2O Twitter feed, and on our Twitch channel. For all you kids out there, most of us don't know what the hell Twitch is, but we're on Twitch. So the SDBA Racing of the showdown in San Angelo will be on the RACER H2O family of social media live. So the live stream crew will be there. I'll be joining the national television crew in Guntersville, Alabama, Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. The APBA Gold Cup will be handed out. H1 Unlimited hydroplanes, Grand Prix America hydroplanes, the Pro Light hydroplanes. So much going on. That'll be our national television coverage there. And again, the first time we've ever done 2 events in the same weekend. Always pushing the envelope way past that sticky part here on RACER H2O. Hey, talking about both of these events that are coming up next weekend, the 25th and 26th of June. Standing by, I've got 2 red lights blinking on the board, fans. First red light, Katy Norton, the president of the Marshall County Tourism and Sports. She's going to be telling us all about Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. Can't wait to get back to Guntersville. Always have a great time there. And then the second blinking light. Arguably, we're talking about the South's fastest water. This man is arguably one of, if not the fastest men on the water. Top fuel hydro driver, Mike Robbins from Nitro Nuts. Going to be talking all about drag boat racing, racing in San Angelo, and so much more. He's standing by. He's a second red light. That's enough of me talking, fans. What do you say we get talking to Katy Norton here in just a minute? We'll be back in 15 seconds. Don't move. This is the RACER H2O podcast.
Get up-to-the-minute watercraft racing news and fantastic bonus content by joining RACER H2O on social media.
Links to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube pages are easy to find at racerh2o.com.
This is the RACER H2O podcast.
All right, troops, welcome back to the podcast. Mike Robbins, driver of Nitro Nuts, the top fuel hydro from the Southern Drag Boat Association, is standing by on the line, but now on the line, one of the busiest people in all of motorsports, the president of Marshall County Tourism and Sports, Ms. Katy Norton. Katy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here today.
You know, we're all getting ready for Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. As I just told the fans as we started the podcast, we're doing double duty. We're going to have some of the crew is going to be down in Texas in San Angelo doing the live stream for the Southern Drag Boat Association, but myself and the TV crew, the national TV crew, will be at the Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest. You know, Guntersville Lake, they call it the South's fastest water. It's only our third year of going there. But Katy, this event it's got a rich history. Lake Guntersville has a rich history, and this event goes a ways back, doesn't it?
It does. We brought the boat racing back in 2018 to Lake Guntersville, but it was part of our history all the way from 1939. You know, they built Guntersville Dam on the Tennessee River in the 1930s, and the very first event or tourism event that they had on the lake was boat racing in 1939, and boats raced here all the way through to the 80s, late 80s. And we held in the 50s, 1950s, during that decade, we held the inboard and outboard national championships here. And it wasn't unheard of to have over 100 boats on our lake racing during that time period. And then during the decade of the 60s, we really made news because we brought the Unlimiteds, the H1 Unlimiteds here during that decade. And many of the fans will remember the Miss Budweiser boat and the Miss Notre Dame boat and the Gale 5. All of those boats raced on our waterway during the 60s. And then, of course, we have a world speed record that was broken in 1962.
Well, you've had a lot of different kinds of boats on Lake Guntersville, and the lineup has changed just from 2018 when we started doing the TV coverage. The lineup has changed. We've seen tunnel boats on the water. We've seen jet skis on the water. And of course, H1 Unlimiteds have been the headliner. Now, this year, you have 3 classes of outboard hydroplanes on the water. Tell us what's going on at the Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest.
So we do this year, we're all hydros. We're bringing, of course, H1 Unlimited, and then we are bringing the Grand Prix America here with 12 boats racing. And it's going to be a combination of Grand Prix boats that run that GPA series, but also some of the HRL drivers for those fans who are familiar with that group. And then we are bringing, we are bringing the 5-liter hydros here, the Pro Light series. And we'll have 12 boats on the water with that class as well. Probably the most boats since 2018 that we've had so far.
Tons of boats on the water, but H1 Unlimited hydroplanes are the headliner. And not only are they the headliner, they're chasing one of the most, if not the most prestigious awards in watercraft racing, the APBA Gold Cup, the oldest motorsports award in America. Goes back to 1904. First time it's going to be handed out in Guntersville, Alabama. You guys have to be fired up.
We are so excited about that. You know, it's truly an honor to be able to host the Gold Cup. And, you know, it is an endurance race. When it first began, they were racing 90 miles to win that trophy. And now, of course, that was in a different type of boat. Those were piston powered, open cockpit boats. And they just, they ran different. And so when they changed over to what they are running now in current time, they run about 50 miles or over for that race. So here in our event, they will run 4 heats, 8 races, plus the championship, which is more heats. And each heat will have 4 laps versus 3. So the format is more racing for longer distance, and the winner will have raced 52 miles.
Well, we're speaking with Katy Norton, president of Marshall County Tourism and Sports. Tons of racing coming up next weekend, fans. June 25th and 26th on Lake Guntersville. Be there. Not only is there a ton of stuff going on the water, Katy, there's a lot of stuff going on off the water there on the shores in the park at Lake Guntersville.
Yes. So we have an event venue that's 1.5 mile long that stretches through our city park along the water. So there's not a bad seat in the house as far as watching the racing, but then there is so much going on inside the event venue as well. There's all types of food vendors. We have some static displays, just fun giveaways and things like that you can experience. This year, we're bringing an entire Jeep group that, I mean, these Jeeps are something else. They I don't know the right word, souped up Jeeps, I guess. I don't know. They're pretty fun to, and they'll have a whole contest of, you'll get to judge those and choose the one that you think is the coolest. So we'll have about 80 of those here. It's going to be a big event. And of course we have the kids zone. It's water slides and it's all included with your ticket. So that's a lot of fun for kids. So, parents, if you are bringing, make sure they bring their swim trunks. And so this is a great event, both on and off the water, and you can just come in, bring your chairs and just relax and enjoy the day with us.
This is a ticketed event, and we'll talk about tickets here in a minute. But on Friday, this is something new, a free event on Lake Guntersville. What's going on Friday, June 24th?
So because of the Gold Cup and the requirement for the so many heats, we kind of ran out of time. There's so many hours in a day, and we're starting at 8 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday, so we kind of ran out of time. And these boats really want to test and play around with their setups to see, how they can get the fastest speeds out of their boats. And so we're going to have a testing event on Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. Fans can come in for free and watch along the water the testing session. Now, there won't be parking. Normally for our event, we have off-site parking lots that run, and we bus our fans into our event venue because there is no parking. And so, but there is parking, like there's some shopping centers near our event venue, and there's city parks on the other side of Highway 69 Causeway. So you can follow the walking trail in if you want to park and walk. And certainly we are welcome and open to that if folks want to come in for free and watch that testing session.
So a little bit of a free sample at 2:00 on Friday, the 24th for fans on Lake Guntersville. Now, Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest is a huge event, takes a huge amount of effort from you and your office. I'm sure there's a ton of volunteers and sponsors that are involved in this. Who are some of the people we need to thank while we have a second?
So we have, when we brought this event back in 2018, we knew it was going to be a huge undertaking and a lot of money. And so we are just so very thankful for our community, because our local community stepped up. We have over 400 people that volunteer throughout the weekend to help with everything from gates to parking, just a variety. So first and foremost, we couldn't do it without our planning committee and our volunteers. So I thank all of those folks. But then also our sponsors. We've got some returning sponsors that have been with us since the very first year. And just a couple to name: Budweiser, Pepsi, Buffalo Rock, Freedom Marine, Citizens Bank, San Mina, Superior RV. We've got several, Alabama Mountain Lakes Tourist Association, TVA, just a whole range of sponsors that have committed and backed this event from the very beginning. And we are really grateful for their support because, we wouldn't be able to bring the races here without it.
Well, if Katy hasn't answered your questions already, fans, if you go on the Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest Facebook page tomorrow, that's June 16th at 7 p.m. East, that's 6 p.m. Central, they will be hosting a live, Katy, is it a Q&A? Can fans ask questions and get answers there on your Facebook feed?
Yeah, it'll be a Facebook Live, and certainly in the comment section, they can ask questions, and we'll have a monitor that'll be checking those, and we'll try to respond to some of those during the Facebook Live broadcast. But we're going to just be talking about everything that's new and cool with this year's hydro, and also just some pointers and tips if you're planning to come and attend, things like how to battle the heat and where to park and all that good stuff that fans may want to know.
How to battle the heat is very important for those of us coming from the north down to the south to experience that wonderful southern humidity that goes along with the southern charm. I just cannot wait to get back to Guntersville. Fans, you've got 3 classes of boats on the water all weekend long. You got a free event going on Friday. You've got all kinds of static displays, all kinds of food going on, and just a fantastic event that will be covered by RACER H2O's national TV coverage. We'll be there with our cameras, taking this out to 11 networks, 300 million households. It is a huge event, one of, if not the biggest watercraft racing events in the United States in 2022. Get your tickets now. Guntersville Lake Hydrofest.com is where you go. That's Guntersville Lake Hydrofest.com. Get your tickets now. This is a ticketed event. And I'm telling you, fans, this is our third year of doing it. You will not be disappointed. We always have a great time in Guntersville. Katy Norton, president of the Marshall County Tourism and Sports, thank you so much for your time. Again, we know you are the busiest lady in racing in these next couple of weeks leading up to this event. Thank you so much for the work that you did, and thank you for your time on the podcast today.
Thanks for hosting me, Jared. I appreciate it. And y'all come race with us.
Fans, don't move. We've got Mike Robbins, Top Fuel Hydro driver of Nitro Nuts, standing by. He's that second blinking light on the board. We'll catch up with him when we come back to the Racer H2O podcast in just 15 seconds.
RacerH2O.com is the place to go to find easy-to-use links to our social media. Watch, read, listen to, and enjoy our content on demand for free on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and RacerH2O.com.
All right, troops, welcome back to the podcast. Man, I tell you, we are excited. We've got a huge weekend of racing coming up in 2 weeks. Doing double duty. Half of the crew will be in Guntersville, Alabama. The other half of the crew will be in San Angelo, Texas for the Southern Drag Boat Association's racing there. And one guy we cannot wait to see back on the water is our guest right now, Top Fuel Hydro driver. He pilots the Nitro Nuts boat. It's Mike Robbins. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you know, we were talking a little bit earlier. You have a very colorful history. You know, we talk about guys going through the progression of you know, the eliminator classes and the lower the support classes moving their way up to Top Fuel. You were a crewman and you just hopped right in. Tell us about your story about how you got into Top Fuel racing.
Man, well, for me, it started out as a kid. My dad took me to the first race when I was like 12 in High Point, North Carolina. And I was watching Proud Mary and Eddie Hill run. I stood on that bank and I said, man, that's what I want to do. And my dad said, you're crazy. You know, we can't do that. But my whole life, I got into boat racing. I got involved and just kept meeting people and working hard. So I'm telling you, anybody who's out there in the personal watercraft at any class, if you want to move up, man, just keep following that dream, because I'm telling you, I did it. It can be done.
You know, you did it. You keep doing it. The Nitro Nuts boat is insane coming off the water. We've experienced it coming off the line, the explosion, that the sound of it hitting your chest as you guys take off. Is there anything in the world that those of us that are mere mortals out here, anything that we could possibly experience, roller coaster, get in an F-16, anything like that, that even comes close to equating what it's like to be in the cockpit of a Top Fuel Hydro?
I had an old boat racer tell me one time, he's like, when I was asking him what it was going to be like. And he said, imagine if the train was coming by at full speed and there was a rope out there and you could grab it and it would just take you off. That's what it's going to feel like.
And is that what it feels like? Was he right?
He was right. It's such a great feeling. I mean, I drove a top alcohol dragster too, and it's just so much difference from riding on the water versus the land. And I just love the water. I love the races, and I love the fans that, you know, to come along with that deal.
Well, I tell you, the fans, this is what they want to see. They'll stick around all day long just for the chance to see one of you guys on the water, to feel that just sound, the way it nails you in the chest and puts you back. And even if it's only for a couple seconds, it's an absolutely amazing feeling. And everything was rolling right along with Top Fuel Hydro up until when a major sponsor pulled out. And, you know, that had to be devastating for you guys to see. You know, when you lose a sponsor like Lucas Oil and everything that goes along with it, that had to be devastating for you.
Oh, man, it was hard for me. I mean, they actually called me after the race and told me, and, you know, we had won the championship in 2018. We were looking for the 2019 season. And then just to have a rug pulled out under you like that, it was just heartbreaking for us, the sponsors, and all the guys on the team that worked so hard, you know, to get us in that position to win the championship.
But now it seems like it's on the comeback trail. David Carroll and the SDBA working very, very hard, knowing this is what the fans want. This is what the sponsors want. They want the big boats. They want the biggest and fastest on the water out there. And, you know, the SDBA working hard to make it happen. They've got Nitro Nuts, your boat, Liquid Voodoo back on the water. And I'm hearing there's a third boat coming to San Angelo. It's got to be exciting for you to know that this is I mean, aside from the fact that you're back in the cockpit, but just to know the sport is growing again.
Oh, yeah, to get this thing back rolling, David has done a phenomenal job of getting this thing back together. And Tyler Spear has been posting, and I think David has talked to Tyler. They're definitely coming. So to have 3 fuel boats on the water, 2018 was the last time we had 3 fuel, somebody to run side by side. So this is going to be great for the sport to get it built back. And there's 2 more guys sitting out in California that are ready. So there's 5 boats, and if we can just get a partner and a title sponsor to put a name on all of these boats, we can put on a show for the fans, no doubt.
It is an incredible show. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to see. We've seen some exhibition runs. We've seen some singles. I'm excited to see some door-to-door action, some nose-to-nose, side-by-side stuff coming off because I've experienced one coming off the line and the sound that goes along with that. I can only imagine what 2 is like. And you've got to be excited to know you're going to look to the left or right and see somebody next to you too.
I am so ready to race somebody. I mean, I enjoyed it going out there and making the singles because I had so many fans come up to me when we were making those exhibition passes, and even other racers, and thanking us for coming. But to have somebody in that next lane, I mean, that's what gets the heart beating. That's the thump you were looking for when you go racing.
Well, when I was talking with David Carroll before about the Top Fuel boats, he says it's not necessarily just the lack of boats out there right now. It's a lack of parts for the boats. This isn't something you can just roll into Napa and get on a lot of these boats, correct? Tell me a little bit about the tech involved with this, because this is Top Fuel Hydro.
Yeah, we run the same components as the guys in the NHRA, and with us just being the smaller guys, I mean, every part is custom made in somebody's shop. So you've got to get on that list, and when you break something, and you got to jump on that list, and you can be behind the John Forces and the big guys, and so you just got to be patient. And thank God I got a crew chief that can think way ahead. So he really keeps our parts, gets a handle on that. But it's just tough to get stuff these days. And along with the cost has gone out the roof.
Right. I mean, it's just another example of another challenge that everybody in motorsports is facing this year that we didn't think. We thought that, hey, we get out of this COVID mess, everything gets going, everything's going to be sitting there waiting for us. But that's not the case. And it's been a challenge for everyone, whether you've got wheels underneath you or not. But one thing that hasn't been a challenge, Mike, and I'm talking with Top Fuel Hydro racer Mike Robbins. One thing that hasn't been a challenge, Mike, is getting fans to events. They've been sitting around. They're pretty fired up, and everywhere we go, it has been packed. These events we've been doing, they've been fantastic events with food and music and racing. It's been great. San Angelo, Texas is the next stop for the Southern Drag Boat Association. And I did some recon there. I flew through San Angelo on my way back to Pittsburgh from Brady. And I just took a look at it, and I was talking to some of the guys as they were setting up. There are people there already setting up from the SDBA. And they were telling me that they're looking at having fans on both sides of the lake. It's a narrow, well, not narrow, but narrower part of the lake where you can put fans on both sides. When you're in the cockpit and you're being towed to the line and you see all those people there, do you notice that? Does that get your heart rate up a little bit? Or are you so focused on the millions of things that you have to be focused on as a driver of one of these things?
No, man, I'm looking all up in the crowd. And actually, one of my crew guys teases me about that, about focusing too much up on the crowd. I mean, I'm waving, I'm looking at the kids. I mean, I love that. That's what we come to do, is put on the show. And for those people to stand out when it's 106 degrees to see us run, I mean, that just makes me feel good. It's a great feeling.
Well, I tell you, the fans, I know that they are excited to see Top Fuel back on the water. I know we're excited. And of course, fans, you'll be able to see it on the RACER H2O live stream from San Angelo next weekend, the 25th and 26th of June. And Mike, tell us a little bit about, nitro nuts. We talked about the expense of these types of boats, but we also talk about how everybody is looking at them. How can someone get involved as a sponsor, or how can they learn more about you and the Nitro Nuts team?
Man, we got a Facebook page, Nitro Nuts, Top Fuel Hydro. You can hit us on the page. My number's on there. You can contact David Carroll at SDBA. We'd be glad. We love talking to people, man. We're trying to get people involved. So don't be shy. Stop by and see anybody with a Top Fuel boat. Go see David Carroll. We can hook him up. Put the name in.
Yeah, and I tell you, the pits are always open, fans. You can go back there. You can meet the drivers. You can get autographs, get pictures taken. So one of the unique things about the SDBA and boat racing with the SDBA, the events, you get your ticket, you can get into the pits, and it's not like NASCAR or IndyCar where you got to spend a couple $100 to get that extra color pass on you. You can go in and meet the drivers, and I know they're always eager to meet you too. But Mike Robbins, we thank you for your time. We appreciate the time, and we cannot wait to see Nitro Nuts, Liquid Voodoo, and more Top Fuel boats on the water, especially coming up this weekend in San Angelo. So thank you again for your time, and good luck to you and the team in San Angelo.
All right, buddy. We'll see everybody in San Angelo. Come out and see us.
Another fantastic Racer H2O podcast fans. We thank you for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. Share this link. Share this podcast with everybody you know. Once again, many thanks to Katy Norton from Guntersville Lake Hydro Fest, and of course, Mike Robbins, Top Fuel Hydro driver of Nitro Nuts. Can't wait to see everybody in action in Alabama and in Texas, and of course this coming weekend in Branson, Missouri for round number 2 of Powerboat Nationals Branson Grand Prix Series. Man, so much going on, fans. It feels great to be back on the road, and thank you so much. We hope to see you out at the races. If we don't see you on the races, make sure you check us out on social media. Like, share, subscribe, follow, do all that great stuff. Buy some Racer H2O merch. Help out the cause. We appreciate you taking the time to listen, fans. It's your old pal Jared. This has been the Racer H2O podcast.